In 2021, I weighed in at about 122 pounds. Today, in the middle of 2024, I weigh in at 149 pounds body weight. Between the end of 2021 and today, I gained about 27 pounds in body weight, or more than 20 pounds of muscle within 3 years of training. Given that my first year of training wasn't the most efficient or consistent, and during the fall of 2022, I suffered injuries and wasn't able to go to the gym for a few months, I would say that my results were impressive given my struggles, and getting to where I'm at is most definitely achievable for most teenagers. If you are as skinny as I was when I started in 2021, by the end of this video, you will learn how to gain more than 20 pounds of muscle within 2 to 3 years of training. Within the first few months of training, I was able to gain around 10 pounds of muscle. I went from 122 pounds to 135 pounds body weight. And this was all from doing workouts strictly with dumbbells that go up to 50 pounds and a home gym equipment like bands and a pull-up bar. In my very early days, I only had dumbbells that went up to 25 pounds. So if you have access to the gym, you can probably gain more muscle than I did when I started. During the fall of 2022, I actually lost a lot of muscle since I got injured from an electric skateboarding accident, got sick like 5 times, and wasn't eating right. I obviously wasn't able to go to the gym for good reason at this time, but as my health got better and as I worked with my physical therapist to repair my rotator cuff injury, I came back to the gym better than ever and gained back all the muscle I lost within 4 to 5 months of training, going from 126 pounds back to 135 pounds in body weight. During my sophomore year of college, I was stuck at around 140 pounds of body weight for a good few months, and I realized that was because I was barely eating. Like, all I ate for lunch was a small chicken sandwich with maybe 20 grams of protein in it, and for breakfast all I had was a protein shake with oats, which honestly I don't recommend. I actually hate protein shakes with oats in it now. Just eat oats separately or eat cereal or something. At this time I was probably only getting 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day, maybe even less since I really wasn't tracking my calories at this time. And it wasn't until I decided to track my calories that I realized how terrible my diet was. So it wasn't until the beginning of this year I decided to track my calories for about a week. And this gave me a basic idea of how many calories are in different types of food. For example, peanuts have an insane amount of calories, and literally any vegetable or fruit have like 0 calories. So there's a reason like people eat salad if they are cutting. Like, seriously, 37 grams of lettuce equates to 6 calories. Only 6 calories. Like, who invented lettuce, bro? So now at the start of this year, I started eating big chicken sandwiches instead of small chicken sandwiches, but also homemade trail mix, which was like 500 calories and was made up of just raisins, peanuts, and maybe some cereal. I started aiming to eat 3,000 calories a day, and now since the start of this year, I have gone from 140 pounds to 149 pounds in body weight. For my fitness journey, I believe that training was the most important thing for getting as much muscle as I was able to gain today. I always got enough sleep, which I believe helps me gain muscle, and having at least some education or knowledge of calorie tracking is important for gaining muscle in the long run. Now you may ask, how did I train? So basically, I just started lifting. Nah, I'm just kidding. Throughout the years, I have changed my workout routine like way too many times, but I've always changed my routine for good reason when I got new insights into training techniques and structure. I started out with an upper-lower split, but the split I do now, which is a split that I highly recommend that you do, is an 8-day pull cardio push leg split. But there are only 7 days in a week. Why limit your training to only 7 days? So the reason I do an 8-day pull cardio push leg split is because it's a very effective split in getting the recommended volume of 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, and also getting some form of cardio in your workout routine, which is important for your cardiovascular health, which helps with your performance during resistance training. I usually do 1 zone 5 cardio session and 1 lower intensity cardio session every week, or 8 days in this case. The reason I do this split is because my cardio goals are less important than my strength and hypertrophy goals personally, and also I just think some sort of push-pull leg split is best for getting the most muscle growth out of a given week. Now for the workout routines that I do, I will be briefly going over them, but I will post more detailed videos on my workout routines in the future. For my pull day workouts, I start with front lever holds as a warm-up. Working on these calisthenic skills is completely optional, and I wouldn't say that these helped me grow muscle too much, but I like doing these exercises solely for the skill and to measure strength. After working on my calisthenic skills, at the start of all my workouts, I do heavy compound exercises since I like to hit these when I feel my strongest. I usually do 1 to 2 heavy compound exercises each workout to focus on my muscular strength, then focus more on hypertrophy for other exercises. So for my pull day 1 workout, I do barbell rows, and for my pull day 2 workout, I do weighted pull-ups to primarily work the lats. After my heavy compound lifts, I followed up with isolation and hypertrophy focused movements to primarily focus on a single muscle group or to focus on the smaller muscles of the body. For my pull day 1 workout, I do single arm rear delt flies, alternating curls for less strict bicep exercises, incline curls to target the long head of the bicep, kneeling single arm pull downs to isolate the lats, face pulls to primarily target the mid traps, and cable rear delt pulls for the rear delts obviously. For my pull day 2 workout, I do dumbbell shrugs for the upper traps, strict curls and reverse curls for the biceps and forearms, seated cable rows to isolate the lats for hypertrophy, and wraparound rows for the mid traps. At the end of my pull day workouts, I do some additional side delt work and some work on the obliques, also known as the side abs. I like to separate my ab training with upper ab and lower abs on my push days and the obliques on my pull days. I work my side delt and obliques on pull days by doing lateral raises for the side delt and cable wood chops and leg spirals for the obliques. After the end of each workout, I like to stretch every muscle that I work on that given day for 3 sets of 30 seconds. In a future video, I will be posting how to stretch each muscle in the body, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. Now after my pull day workouts, I focus on cardio and sometimes neck exercises. For my cardio sessions, I either run a 5K or do sprint interval training with some plyometrics. On my sprint training days, I start with a warm-up by either doing plyometrics or a track warm-up, and for the sprint intervals, I do 8 sets of 15-second max speed sprints. Usually I like to add neck training after my sprint workouts to not have a small neck, but also because neck training has helped me personally with the neck pain I get from sleeping occasionally. For my push day 1 workout, I like to start with planche leans as a calisthenics warm-up and handstand holds for my push day 2 workout. On push day 1, I do bench press for my heavy compound lift, and on push day 2, I work on the overhead press. For the isolation and hypertrophy movements, on push day 1, I do single arm overhead presses for the front delts, lying tricep extensions for the triceps. I've actually had some elbow pain recently, so I've been replacing these with tricep pull downs. Then I do lateral raises for the side delts, single arm cable crossovers for a really good stretch and isolation on the chest. I highly recommend this exercise. And for the last isolation exercise, cable tricep kickbacks. On push day 2, I do weighted dips for strength and hypertrophy for the chest, cable lateral raises unilaterally targeting each of the side delts, tricep pull downs, dumbbell incline bench press for the upper chest, and lying tricep extensions, which I've been replacing with cable tricep kickbacks. At the end of my push day workouts, I do additional bicep work and some work for my upper and lower abs. I do crossbody hammer curls for the brachialis, cable crunches for the upper abs, and hanging leg raises for the lower abs. Now for my leg days, I like to do a basic warm-up before doing the heavy exercises, since the legs can be a very stubborn but strong set of muscles. For my leg day 1, I do barbell squats primarily for the quads and power cleans for some explosive leg work for my heavy compound lifts. And I do barbell deadlifts on leg day 2. Power cleans are an exercise that I've been doing fairly recently, so I wouldn't say it's what primarily helped me build stronger hamstrings. So if you find this exercise too dangerous or you don't want to work on explosive work, you can replace these with Romanian deadlifts. The isolation movements that I do on my leg days are Bulgarian split squats for the quads and some glute work, seated leg curls to isolate the hamstrings, leg extensions for more work on the quads, machine hip thrusts to primarily target the glutes, then seated calf raises and standing calf raises for the calves. I usually mix these up depending on which machines are available in the gym, and I also make sure that I'm not doing 2 quad exercises or 2 hamstring exercises back to back to give myself some rest time between these types of isolation exercises. For the rep ranges of each exercise, in general, I use the lower rep ranges to focus on strength and higher rep ranges to focus on hypertrophy. I almost never go above 15 reps for all of my exercises since I like to be time efficient with my routines, and going above 15 reps makes it harder to determine when you've gone to failure. I usually like to do a rep range for each exercise where I can comfortably go to or just shy of failure. When I say failure, I mean I just can't lift the weight anymore. I've built some intuition on what failure is for me. Sometimes I do one drop set to finish off an exercise where I lower the weight for the last set. For my heavy compound movements such as my bench press, deadlift, squats, and power cleans, I like to do 4 sets of 4 to 6 reps. For my isolation and hypertrophy exercises, I either do 8 to 10 reps, 10 to 12 reps, or 12 to 15 reps. I find keeping a tight rep range for each exercise helps me track progressive overload much more easily. For example, once I reach 10 reps with good form on alternating curls, I would increase the weight up by 5 pounds, then go back down to 8 reps for the exercise for progressive overload. When it comes to tracking workouts, I have almost always used the basic method of tracking, which I mentioned in one of my previous videos. Now I've transitioned into using Grin&Gain to track my workouts, which is a social fitness tracking app that I've been developing. If you're interested in tracking your workouts with ease, you can sign up for early access on my website, Grin&Gain.com. Now that was how I gained more than 20 pounds of muscle as a teenager. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.